Hi friends, my name is Kat. Welcome to the channel and today's video. So we do lots of book, beauty, and lifestyle content here, and today's going to be a bookish video where we are going to be continuing on a series I started, which is reading books within a certain genre until I find a 5-star. And with these videos, could be one book we read, it could be 10, who knows. The last edition I did was reading horror books, which I was very scared. I will be very honest, not by the books, but I was very scared that I would not find a 5-star, and it was a rough video. So today we're doing something a little bit easier for me, something that I know I tend to have a lot of 5-stars, and that is romance. And also this video is going to be going up in February, so why not celebrate the month of love with tons of romance recs. So I do not have a set TBR for this one yet. I'm not really setting a TBR because I don't necessarily know how many books we're going to be reading, but I do have a few of my physical TBR. I have some on KU, I have some from the library. Like, I have tons of options, so we will not be struggling in that. But I think the book that I'm going to start with is Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca. Sure, like maybe a random season to be reading this because I think it's about a haunted house, which maybe would be more appropriate for October, but I'm in the mood for it. It looks cute. It looks kind of silly. I think that this could be a very, very fun place to start. So welcome to the video. If you haven't already, would love if you subscribe, and let's just dive into this reading. So I'm just getting ready to head out for a coffee, but wanted to very, very quickly mention that I started reading Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca, and this is definitely a giving small town romance vibes, but in a possibly haunted small town. So we have a woman who moved to a small town and she just needed a new opportunity. So moved to this small town, bought a random house, and got there and keeps being told that the house is haunted and the entire town is haunted. It's like this small town in Florida that's supposedly one of the most haunted small towns in the world. And naturally she doesn't believe this, but she's starting to flirt a bit with this local coffee shop owner, and he's kind of, trying to convince her that, the ghosts are real and kind of teach her a bit more about this town, because it turns out the ghosts actually are real and they communicate with people. Some people in the town have the ability to communicate with them, and her house might actually be haunted by a real life ghost. It's kind of fun, kind of cute. But yeah, I'll talk more about it later. I think I'm gonna definitely finish it off this afternoon. It's a very, very short read, but I'm gonna go for coffee right now, and then maybe I'll come home, finish it, and then tell you guys a bit more. I feel like I'm looking a little bit rough, and that's because I accidentally took a couch nap, but we're just gonna ignore that. Also, if you hear any noises in the background, that is my bread machine going. So we've kind of gotten into a habit of every weekend we do just personal pizzas at home, which has honestly been fantastic, because before we were very much every Friday would be our order in night, and we kind of we want to pivot away from doing that as much and saving a bit more money. So we decided to just do pizzas at home, and it's been fantastic. It has been very, very wonderful lately. So that's just what's going on right now, and we'll have that later on tonight. But yeah, I'm tired. I did finish Haunted Ever After though, and so we're following a woman. She moves to this small town, and she kind of just she's feeling lost in life, and she hasn't really accomplished anything. So she decides to move to this small town. When she gets there, learns it has this reputation of being Florida's most haunted town, and she doesn't believe this, but eventually comes to realize the ghosts are actually real, and her house is being haunted, and it's being haunted by this this older lady who has very strong opinions about the like renovations that were done to her house prior to the previous owners tried to flip the house. They did like really shitty job at it and ruined like all of the character that the ghost had loved about her house and that she'd been really, really proud about. So they end up like kind of teaming up together and just like working to make this house like a home. And at the same time, she's kind of starting a relationship with the local like cafe owner in town. She goes to this cafe all the time. They start flirting, end up kind of like getting together. And that part was okay. I do have to say 100%. I was invested in the ghost part and wasn't super invested in the relationship aspect. So it definitely like really, really failed on the romance front for me, because honestly, like the romance could have just been like not there, and I think I would have enjoyed the book just as much. Like it really, really didn't bring anything to the story. Like it didn't change my opinion on anything. It didn't make me like into it more. It just kind of detract from this ghosty thing, which I just like. I would have loved the entire book just to be all about the ghosts, and I would have loved for it to get so much more into the ghost thing. So it is only 3-star. We got nowhere near a 5-star in this one, and I don't know where I want to go next. So like there's some books that I have. There's a bunch of authors I would love to try for the first time. I have a few on Libby that I've checked out. I don't know which one I'm going to go to. Like I've seen like I have Dating and Dragons by Christy Boyce, but that one's more YA, so I don't really know if I want to include it in here because I'm doing this more of like contemporary romances. So like, do I want to do a sports romance? I don't know. Like I'm really, really up in the air of where I want to go next. I kind of want to try, actually, like, yeah, I don't even know. Like I have, I think, a handful of romances on my shelf, not a whole lot. What I might want to do, 1-star romance. I do definitely want to read that in this video. I just don't know if I want to pick it up next. I don't know what kind of mood I'm in. So I'm going to decide that. It's after work. I mean, it's after work now. I'm going to go do my workout in a little bit while the spread is being finished. And I guess I'll come back to you later tonight with whatever I decide to do next. Look here, buddy. Come here. Look here. All right, so I finally have started another book in this one, and I waited way too long before jumping into another romance book, but I finally picked out another one that I want to get to. And weirdly enough, I am going another kind of paranormal witchy romance, which really was not the intent at all of this video. I was really intending to do entirely contemporary romances, but you know what? I'm just gonna go with what I'm feeling, and right now I guess it's witchy. So next one that I'm doing, it's called Best Tex Ever, and we are following a witch. She is a cafe owner. She's like super witchy, just living her happy life, and a museum curator who does a lot of I don't know exactly how to describe it, but I would say like talismans and symbolic things that are kind of tied in with witchcraft. So he knows a lot of like symbolic things that are used in like different stuff like that. They meet when he goes into her cafe. They have this insane attraction instantly, and then a few days later they meet again on a train where they're both going to a small town. I don't know if it's a small town, but they're going out of the city for a weekend. And it turns out that they are both actually in a wedding for their best friends. So she's maid of honor, he is best man. Their best friends are getting married, and it's like a weekend away with all of their friends. And their friends have also decided that they want to try and set them up. And it's really, really cute. Like I am getting really fantastic vibes from this one. The witchy aspect is fantastic. Like this has the perfect amount of witchiness in it where like our main character, like everything she does, she's infusing with magic. So she describes herself as like a kitchen witch, and she's very much like everything she's doing, she is embodying like these magic things into it. Her mother also very, very witchy. And it's just like that perfect combination that I want. Like if we have some kind of magical aspect, if we have some kind of witch in our romance, I want to see that. I want to see a bit of their life. Like I want to see them like interacting with magic and doing all this stuff. And thankfully we're really, really seeing that. And also really enjoying our male main character. He's like very very nerdy, very sweet, very instantly obsessed with our female main character, which I love to see. And he just kind of seems like an overall like very good person, which again, love it. So yeah, I'm having a fantastic time with this one so far. Just loving the vibes so much, and really excited to keep going on it. All right, so we have finished our next book. Yay! Unfortunately not a 5-star, so you are not seeing the end of me right now, but very enjoyable. Definitely a 4-star, and just this really gave me everything I want in a witchy romance. I find that I'm always like, this is an issue I have, is that I'm always wanting to read more witchy books. I want a quirky witchy romance, but a lot of the ones I read just really don't deliver, or it just ends up feeling corny. It ends up like something about it is lacking, like maybe the magic works but the romance is terrible. The romance is terrible but there's like hardly any mentions of the magic, and this one just worked really well. Like I really enjoyed the characters. Their romance was super cute, and I really like loved all of the magic that was interwoven through the book. In particular, like there were so many like familial love bonds that you just saw the magic shining through generations of this family, and how much they loved each other, and how magic was such an expression of what they loved. And in this book, our female main character is hexed. So she is hexed so that one of her ex-girlfriends hexed her so that anytime somebody loves her, they will get injured or something will happen to drive them away. So through her dating history now, anybody else she's dated, something has happened and they've like wound up in the hospital, wound up injured, something has happened. And that is kind of part of the issue with this current relationship, is even though she is very much falling for Scott and really like appreciating who he is, realizing that he could be the perfect man for her, she's really struggling to 100% commit to a relationship because she's witnessed so many things happen in the past and really cannot fully commit herself to him, and really does not want to like let anything potentially happen to him. So that's a huge thing that like is always holding her back, and she's never been able to fully find love because of this, because she's never been like willing to like open herself up to potential pain. And I just loved it. I think that this was fantastic. I also like, so again, going back to the witchiness, she was a kitchen witch, which is just, I think like the, in my personal opinion, the coziest type of witch, because she would imbue all of her baking and all of her teas with spells and love, and all of them like would come with a sentiment of like, if you eat a certain thing, you'll feel confidence, or you'll just remember these feelings of love that you had for someone, like just stuff like that. And I loved it. I loved it so much. So yeah, 4 stars. Really great. I have noticed that Fairy Loot and Lumicrate both have special editions of this book, and I'm gonna take a little look at which one I prefer, because I think I really would like a copy of it. Like I really enjoy, I just really enjoyed it, and I'm trying to get more romance on my shelf. So like you can see these 2 shelves are my contemporary romance, and this one kind of fits in. It's like a little paranormal but kind of contemporary at the same time. I have a lot more fantasy romance, like these are all fantasy / fanro / sci-fi, but I really want my shelves to better represent my taste, and part of that is I want to really like buy books that I'm actually enjoying. So that's why I'm kind of like on a not quite no buy, but I am only buying books that are from authors I've previously read from, really enjoyed, like anticipated books in next in series, or stuff that I've read and really loved. So I think this could be one that maybe a special edition would be nice to have. So I'm going to take a look at those and see like if there's one that maybe I would like. But yeah, I'm having a great feeling about it. Yeah, I just had a wonderful time with this. And we have started on the next book, which I'm going to go grab from the other side of the house. Okay, so I am working on A Winter in New York by Josie Silver. This is one that I had been 50-ish pages in previously to starting this, and I put it down, haven't had time to get back to it, and decided this would be like the perfect opportunity to pick it up, in particular because it is winter right now, and I can very much guarantee if I don't read it this winter, I won't wait until like it'll be until next winter that I read it. And you know, I would like to read it now. I'd like to get like another book off my physical TBR. So I don't necessarily know if this will be a 5-star. Kind of having a feeling of no, but I know I've read other books by Josie Silver in the past. One Day in December and One Night on the Island. Yeah, so I know I've enjoyed both of those. So maybe this could be the one. But we are following basically a chef trying to help a family gelato parlor like re-find their like prestigious gelato recipe. So our main character Iris, her mother has recently passed and she moved from London to New York, and she and her family have had this like famous gelato recipe within them, and it has this whole story of her mother was given this recipe by a young love that she had when she was in New York, and it's this secret recipe that they have just been making themselves. But when she goes to New York, she ends up stumbling across this gelatery kind of place that she recognizes from a picture letter that her mother had given her and quickly realizes that it's the same place. But this family, the patriarch of the family, who is the only one who actually knows this gelato recipe, has recently had a medical emergency. I think he had like a stroke and now no longer remembers the recipe. So she doesn't want to reveal her connection to this gelato for some reason, but ends up volunteering, or also she has the recipe this whole time and doesn't want to let it know, but she ends up volunteering her time to the son of the patriarch, who is now running in the like coffee shop. We'll just call it the coffee shop, and basically ends up offering to help him work through different gelato recipes and try to figure out if they can like recreate this gelato, and they are gonna have a romance together. So she weirdly, I don't know why she's trying to like not let them know who she is. I think it's potentially because her father, or his father, might have, I don't know if it was an affair or just like a summer love with her mother, but something happened and it's been many years, never talked to each other again. And yeah, for some reason she doesn't want to talk about that. Also, there was this really weird moment in the prequel where she's in a bookstore and a man approaches her and she kind of makes some comment about having a dead husband, even though she doesn't. And turns out it's him, and he recognizes her, and he was like, oh yeah, that really stuck with me because my wife is dead, and now she can't like admit that she has never been married and two, does not have a dead husband. So she's like working on all these weird lies, which is really awkward. It's something that really should have been cleared up sooner. I don't know why not, but yeah, it's fine so far. I really don't know where else we're gonna go aside from they're just gonna be making gelato and trying to find this recipe, and eventually at some point all of her lies are gonna come out, which there's quite a few. It's not just like a few little things to get over. There's a lot of lies. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Okay, hi. So I finished A Winter Anew, and where's my copy? Good question. Who knows? It's somewhere in the house. I just don't feel like finding it. So I did enjoy this one. I thought it was a very decent romance book, but at the same time, I don't think I can say that it did anything that was that outstanding for me. Yeah, like we're following this person as she is really like working intensely with this family to help them solve their gelato problem. And I thought that the romance between the two main characters was decent. Our main character as well, she's going through a very big personal journey after the loss of her mother and really trying to navigate the world without her. But there were a lot of secrets that she kept from her main love interest, and they went for way too long, and that is something I cannot get behind. I really like, there can be secrets, there can be the misunderstandings, but I think that whoever is holding them needs to come clean very early on, or else it like really deeply impacts the relationship, because you can't really say that the relationship will be good going forward if you have basically started it off on an intense lie. And yeah, that's something that I personally just really struggled with that part, and it made me really not get as invested as I probably would have otherwise. So yeah, it's like, it's one of those things that I'm never going to be 100% okay with. I'm never going to love romances where there are such intense secrets being held and so much it wasn't even misunderstanding, just things not being communicated between the people, and their entire relationship for a long time was on lies. I can't get behind that, unfortunately. So I am giving this one 3 stars. Obviously not a 5-star. Had way too many problems with it, and it was decent. I had a lot of problems with it though. Overall though, it was like well written. I guess maybe I wasn't, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I wasn't as invested in it as I thought I would be, but yeah, whatever. 3 stars was not the 5 that I was hoping for. So I have decided on my next book, which I was really just going over my shelves, so off center. I was going over my like physical shelves and seeing what I have that's unread, and this happens to be one of them. And I think it'd be very hilarious if we happen to find a 5-star with a book that's called 1-Star Romance. So the premise of this is basically we have an author, she wrote a book, and she is at her best friend's wedding, and she's maid of honor. The best man gave her book 1 star. That's the basic premise that I went into knowing with it. But what we're basically following, we have a young woman. She and her best friend live together at the beginning of this book. Her best friend's been dating this guy for about a year, but you know, she's never really understood it. She thinks that he's kind of like just a goof, like not a serious person. She doesn't understand this relationship and really just thinks that he's kind of like a bro, I guess. On her best friend's birthday, though, after they've been dating about a year, her boyfriend proposes to her, and it's at this party that she meets said best man. They hit it off, they flirt a lot, and then they don't really talk for a little bit. But propel forward, I don't know, a year or two, she has written this book and published it. It is about two best friends who are living together, and one of them starts dating a guy who basically moves in, and it's the hijinks from that. She is getting like decent reviews, but it's also one that like she really has not had like widespread success with. It might be published, but like her friends are reading it. That's pretty much it. And for some reason, her best friend has never actually read this book. She is at the wedding. They're going to the wedding. They're getting all the events coming forward. And while she's there, she notices a 1-star review, and the name made it. She was very clearly able to track it down. That go lay down, bud. Go lay down. She was very clearly able to tell that it was him just based on like I think his email address. And he has given the book 1 star. She confronts him about him, and I'm gonna say honestly, I'm on his side on this one. So apparently the boyfriend that she writes about in her book is very clearly a caricature of her best friend's now husband, and really just treating him terribly, making him seem in the absolute worst light possible. And him, he has to defend his best friend and can't support her, even though he said that like he really liked the writing. It was just like it was an intense insult. And yeah, we're kind of following a bit about that. Like it's going to be obviously their relationship, but a lot of what it's seeming is that they're very much at odds. They are very much hating each other. He's offended at her because she wrote something so mean about his best friend. She's offended because she can't see. She's like, okay, maybe what I did was kind of shitty, but it can't be that bad. And hates him for just how rude he's been to her. And that's kind of just where it's gonna go. I think that like I'm kind of liking this premise. I think it's interesting, and I hope that she gets confronted about it by her friend, because it seems like it's this awkward thing, this book that she wrote. It's always this kind of like awkward sore spot between the two of them that they never actually address, and I think that it's something that her friend is probably very upset about, but just doesn't know how to bring it up. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this so much more than I kind of expected to, and that's good. That's always great. But I have to say the biggest thing that I'm really enjoying about this is the friendship between the two, like the female main character and her best friend. And the romance itself, it's fine. We're seeing as many years go on and these two characters interact through their best friends' lives. So they're both like very involved with their respective best friends, and as they go on through their life and all of these events that are happening, like the wedding, them having their child, and all of these things, they're very involved and constantly see each other through this. So they're getting glimpses at each other's lives as they go through all of these events, and them like going through different careers, being with different partners, and just at the same time they're always really drawn to each other and really feeling like this intense attraction, and just like I would say like antagonism, but they just always like have this wonderful arguments and banter together, and I'm enjoying seeing that quite a bit. It's kind of reminding me of what was the name of it? I saw on my shelf. The name of the book is being blocked right now, but it's one by Kate Golden, and it reminds me a lot of that one, where we're just doing the same thing, where we're seeing characters snippets as they come into each other's lives over and over again. I like that, and I really enjoy the complex relationship between our female main character and her best friend, because it's very realistic, and it's showing some things that like when our main character wrote this book where she's really like making fun of her best friend's husband, it becomes one of these like unwritten or unspoken things in their friendship where neither of them address it. They always jump around it. They never really address our main character's career, which she is a writer, and they never really like talk about these things, and it's always this like underlying tension between them where they say like they're each other's soulmates, they're each other's love of their lives, but there is this thing that you can see so deeply hurt her best friend, and I really want to see the resolution to that. I really want to see them like actually address it and see what happens, and I'm just deeply enjoying it so far. So I guess you can probably guess, just based entirely on the length of time left in this video, what I'm giving this. And it's interesting. I really didn't kind of expect that this is where we would go. This is when I was kind of like really joking in my head. I was like, it'd be hilarious if we ended, 5 stars on the 1-star book. but I really liked it. I really enjoyed this one. And my biggest critique, I think I'd say, is that I felt like this one was probably more literary fiction in a lot of sense than romance itself. And it is probably a little misclassified in this way, because a lot of what I think the book centered on, and a lot of what I ended up really enjoying the most about it, is a relationship between our main character and her best friend. And really this complex relationship of two people who love each other so dearly, but have like done so many things throughout the years to hurt each other. And even then, even like despite all of these things that may have happened, still having this intense love and being able to like, being willing, I guess, to drop everything and go and be there for your friend. That was what really did it for me. And I did enjoy the romance. I do definitely enjoy it. I do think that the romance was really enjoyable, and I really like the way that the characters complemented each other. I like their banter, their conversations. Just, they felt like a very good match. But the thing that was really propelling me forward, and that really did it for me, was definitely this female friendship. And this is one thing that it always does for me, like books about complex relationship and complex female friendship. Those are something that always do it for me. They mean a lot, and something that, you know, I don't think there's nearly enough talked about in the world about how complex friendships can be and how important they are. Like sometimes a platonic love for your friend can be just as significant of a relationship as a partner at times, and I don't think that's talked about enough. So it's kind of because of that, and that this is a 5-star. And I really enjoyed like our main character's journey as well, of realizing like just how shitty she has been, how many things she's done that have just like really not been okay, and her for so long just kind of like, you know, trying to avoid that and trying to like not acknowledge it, and then finally realizing that like no, what she's done has had severe hiccups. Anyways, I loved it, really loved it. So with there, we're finishing off this video, and I think this went pretty decently. Like this, if I'm not wrong, was 5 books, which felt like a pretty good amount. I was really struggling, to be honest, when I was coming up with lists of like romance books that I would be interested in reading, because I was just like struggling, like so many authors that, you know, authors that I know I love. It's like I didn't really want to throw those in here and know that I would get like an immediate 5-star. I wanted to test a few different things and a few potential like maybes, I guess, like things that are a bit more of a mystery and up in the air. So this was fun. The next edition that I'm going to be doing about this is fantasy. So please leave any suggestions you have down below of fantasy books maybe that I should take a look at. But I'm really like I'm going to be jumping into that video like right away. But thanks for watching today, and hopefully I will see you in a video soon. Bye.